Hello everyone. I've had a lovely request from Pure Sparkles 22, love the name, and asking about if Brad and Angelina will get back together. So first of all, I've studied their signs, and we have, well, first of all, they're not compatible at all. I'll just go into the star signs a bit before we look at the cards. Brad is a Sagittarius and Angelina's a Gemini. But what people tend to see, first impressions, is your moon sign. And Brad is a Capricorn moon and Angelina is Aries. Aries is the headstrong, driven, ambitious, and Capricorn is the mountain goat. He will get there in the end. He also has, interestingly, Brad has Capricorn in Venus and he has Capricorn in Mercury. So his communication is in Capricorn as well as his love sign. So you're talking about someone who is very serious, very intent, very work orientated and very dedicated. And then we get Angelina, and she has got her, as I said, her sun in Gemini, her moon in Aries, so you're talking determined and headstrong is how she comes across. She has Cancer in Venus, which makes her a little bit, she is maternal, but you will get some possessiveness with that, maybe a little bit controlling over her loved ones. And the Mercury in Gemini, so very, very chatty. She needs someone to spark off a bit of witty repartee. I'm not sure she would get that with Brad, but you never know. So we drew some cards. I say we, the collective we, I did. So first question, I'm focusing on my lovely tarot box here. I love the way the cat gazes at the candle. And then we have, I just said, will they reunite? Drew 3 cards. Knight of Pentacles. Now the Knight of Pentacles is your typical Capricorn knight. He doesn't represent Capricorn, but the picture does. He's the only knight that isn't moving. He's all geared up in battle, not particularly ready for a fight, but he knows there might be one there, but he is not going to instigate it. He's not going to go forward, but he's just sat there, fully shielded, protected from anything that might come his way. I say his as knights do tend to represent men. Then came the 8 of Swords. Now I did think of this as Angelina, again with the imagery, because she has the long dark hair. I know that again is simplifying it, but it indicates as well that someone, and I do think it is probably Angelina because of her star signs, right now she's feeling trapped and restricted with some dark thoughts. She may be over dramatizing something. This could be maybe a bit of jealousy, possibly with seeing Brad and Jennifer at the SAG Awards. That could just be that feeling. It is very difficult. I know that he was already with Jennifer when he got with Angelina, but he's still her ex, so a lot of very conflicting emotions there. Then we got the Empress, and that's confusing because that's usually the mother card, so you'd think yes, they'll be reuniting, and I drew a clarifying card for that, and we got the Fool. Now that is usually an unexpected pregnancy. Obviously it isn't in this case with what happened with Angelina, so I think you're looking at the other explanation, and that one is with the Empress. She feels that she almost created the Fool. He came to her, and because we are going in a love relationship, I've specifically asked for love and romance, not career or work. So I think with it being in love, she has become possessive and controlling and does not want to see him go off on his own at the moment and win these awards. It is coming across a little bit of jealousy on her side, and at the moment that was just the 3 cards and a clarifier for will they reunite. So that definitely looks, at the moment the energy is a no. I think she became envious, shall we say, of seeing him with Jennifer, which is, you know, they were married to start with. Don't really want to go there. And then I asked, how does Brad feel about Angelina? There it is. We got the Tower. Now, because they've already divorced, you're looking at arguments. It's a major card, so maybe the reuniting of Brad and Jennifer at the SAG Awards caused some kind of explosion, because it's next to the King of Swords. So Brad feels that she has said, I think, some very to the point or cutting remarks. The King of Swords is all about being direct and to the point, sometimes a little bit too much. This isn't someone who will be flowery with their words. Yes, it's very direct and to the point. And next to the Tower, it looks like, how does he feel? They've had an argument, a big one. But as I said, these are based on the energy at the moment, and it could change. But it is looking like this was triggered by the reunion, particularly, I say reunion, the television reunion, as it was so public, and many people not just wanted them to get back together, but think that Jennifer can do better. Then I asked, how does Angelina feel about Brad? The first card is the Page of Wands, which, interestingly, he's a Sagittarian. But he's also a page, he's not a knight or a king, which represents youth, and she thinks he's immature. He just hasn't grown up. And the Page of Wands is a very good card, but not in a relationship. If you've asked in a love relationship, he can come across as thoughtless. He may have said something a little bit aggressive, and she feels he needs to work out some issues and grow up. It was next to the 8 of Pentacles. Now, the 8 of Pentacles in feelings, if I just get my notes back. Yes, that indicates that there's a fixation on the relationship on one side. And because of the other cards in the spread, I would say the fixation, as odd as it sounds, might well be coming from her. I don't think she wants him back, but I certainly don't think she wants him to go to anyone else. That's just my interpretation of those two. It's very difficult when you don't have cups out, and that's telling as well. In the entire reading, there's no cups, so there's no emotion real, there's no feelings. We have swords, we have a wand, pentacles, we do not have any cups, which is not a good sign at all. And the last question I asked was, how do they both feel, and how will we next sort of see them in public? And we've got the Queen of Swords and the Four of Swords. Now this one, the Four of Swords, it can mean there's, the Four of Swords in the traditional deck is the coffin, an ending. It can also mean they have detached from drama, and as we know, there was a lot of drama in that relationship. This means that they have decided to detach from the drama, the arguments, get away from it. This is what the public will see. And also how they themselves will want to detach from drama, particularly for the kids. It's important that they do that. And the Queen of Swords, she is rejected and hurt, but will not show it. She will put on a face to the world. And it's odd to think of Angelina as being rejected, but maybe by the SAG Awards pictures, maybe she feels that was a slight. It's very difficult to get into the mind of someone who has had an affair, but it is coming across that she is actually feeling hurt and that he's done something to upset her. So I'm sorry I couldn't be more positive for that reading. I hope I've gone into enough depth for you. As you can see, I've gone over my 5 minutes, so I'll be panicking slightly, but I'm very happy to do this reading for you. I'll just pan back, show you all the cards. So we've got them all in. As you can see, this does not look positive for a relationship. It's not doom and gloom and there's no endings, but they've already had their endings, and to look for reuniting, you would expect to see some aces and some cups. Just general feelings at the moment. I think they've had an argument. Looks like a pretty bad one. And if requested, I can always do another one of Brad and Jennifer to see how things are going, because I think it may have been was it a week since the SAG Awards? I'm not sure. Anyway, if anyone has any more questions and comments, please leave them below. And thank you again to Pure Sparkles 22 for this request. It's been a pleasure to do it. Many blessings, Elizabeth.